Welcome back to Cottage Designs by Erin. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a beautiful pumpkin table runner. It's just June, but you know as well as I do that we have to work on our fall projects in the summer in order to have them ready on time. Tomorrow will be June 1st, 2023, and Hobby Lobby already has their pumpkins out in addition to their Christmas items. So here's a picture of the table runner I'm going to show you how to make. It is 12 by 42. It's called Harvest Blend. It is out of Primitive Quilts magazine, fall of 2015. I've been an avid subscriber to this magazine since 2011, and I've made several other projects. They're really beautiful and they have easy to follow directions. So the first thing you're going to need is you need about 12 fat quarters of varying shades of cream, or it can be gold, whatever you want for background. You also need a package of wool felt for the pumpkins and the stem. And then let's see here. You need about 1/4 a yard for the end pieces of the runner. So let me tell you how you do this. First, you will cut out 40 3.5-inch squares. So if you're taking notes, 40 3.5-inch squares. And you're going to do them in a checkered board pattern of light, dark, light, dark. You will sew 4 across, 5 down. Once you do that, okay, it will look like this, okay? 4 across, 5 down. Then you will need about 1/4 yard or so of fabric. You will need 3 strips. Let me check the measurements on this. Of course, I shut it when I put it down. Your strips are going to be 4.5 inches wide by the width of the runner. Okay, so you're going to sew your blocks together, your 3.5-inch blocks, 4 across, 5 down, light, dark, light, dark. Sew your strips on. Now, it's time to quilt. So I used warm and natural batting in the middle, and I also used muslin on the back. At first, I started off with just a slant design, which would be fine because on warm and natural batting, I believe you can quilt up to 10 inches apart, but it looked kind of boring, and so I decided to go back the other way and ended up making an X over every one of the squares. So this is our background piece. In the center of the magazine, you have all of your templates for your pumpkins, which I have cut out. So I'm going to move the camera to my hands now. So we have our background piece. We need our pumpkin pieces to put down. Now listen, these don't touch, so don't get excited when your pieces do not touch. So we're going to put down the dark, and then we're going to put down the center. You don't want them too far apart because they have to overlap. In order to be sewn down properly. Well, maybe I like it better the other way. I bought wool felt sheets off of Amazon. They're expensive. It's $25 for 25 pieces, I believe, so $1 each. And you don't get, they're 6 by 12 sheets. So you don't get a lot of repeat colors. You just get one sheet of everything, which is annoying. So both of my pumpkins are not going to be exactly the same. But really, when you think about it, pumpkins in nature are not exactly the same either. So I'm going to have one pumpkin lighter on one end and one darker on the other. All right, so this is what it looks like once we have it down. You're going to pin it in place. And then you have some options. You can machine stitch it down, machine applique, or you can use a machine zigzag or machine buttonhole stitch if your machine has that feature or function, or you can do it by hand. I'm going to do mine by hand because I like the way that looks. All right, so that's one side. Now let me flip it over to the other side. This is such a rich, beautiful project, and it'll be done just in time for the holidays. In order to trace these pieces, I just used some Dollar General tissue paper, and I traced the pieces, and then I cut them out of the wool felt. You can also make your own wool felt. You can go to Goodwill. You can buy wool clothing. You wash it and dry it and shrink the heck out of it. And then after you do that, you cut it apart. You cut out the lining, all the zippers, all the buttons, all that, and then you press the pieces, and then they're ready to go for applique. Okay, so here's our little pumpkin there, and then we need our stem. And then after I hand stitch this applique in place, I would then have to sew the binding on, which I don't have made, so I won't show you that aspect. But I told you how to get the background squares. 40 3.5-inch squares sewn in the pattern of light, dark, 4 across, 5 down. Then put on your joining pieces that were 4.5 inches wide. And now we're ready to do our applique. All right, when you do applique, buttonhole stitch, you can either use thread that matches the background piece, but if I use that option, I'm going to have to change thread colors every time I go to a new piece. Rather than do that, I'm going to use black. This is a ball of DMC Pearl 12. You can buy it at Joann Fabrics, Hobby Lobby. I've got embroidery needles here. You can buy them again, Joann Fabrics, Hobby Lobby, eBay. All right, we're going to take a stab through our first piece. You're going to try to get close down to the bottom. Once you take your first stitch and pull through, you're going to tie a knot in the end so that you can hold on to your thread. Now, you're going to stab down through the end pieces. I'm having a hard time getting through there. And then you're going to keep your thumb or fingers in the loop just a little bit here. Because now when you come back up inside, you're going to come up inside the loop of your thread and pull. And this is going to give it the effect of little teeth all the way around the pumpkin. You can make your stitches light, bigger, smaller, longer, shorter, whatever suits you, okay? Notice I'm inside the loop, and I'm going to pull. It's going to catch my stitch. If you're concerned about your stitches not being uniform and perfect, there is such a material called tiger tape. And tiger tape is an adhesive tape that you stick on your projects, and it has little marks on it that you can gauge your stitches by to make sure they're as perfect as possible. I'm not worried about my stitches being perfect. I just want it to stick on here nice and neat and pretty. Okay. So the trick is to always keep the circle open. I'm up, see how I'm up inside my circle of thread? Okay, and then you're going to pull. And this gives you this little pretty decorative stitch. Now you can also, some people, like I said, some sewing machines have this function. Mine's too old, it does not. But I'm not offended by handwork. I think handwork is very pretty. You can also, I guess you could have fused the back of this if you wanted to. I don't always like fused pieces because it makes them very stiff. I kind of like the free look. So you will continue on until you get all the way around your pumpkin. So let me raise my camera up now. Whoop. Okay. So in a very short video, I have shown you how to make this pumpkin applique table runner. It is just absolutely beautiful. And then once I get the binding on, it's going to have a very rich look to it. So again, this is found on page 76 of Primitive Quilts magazine from 2015. You can buy back issues of this on eBay, or you can go to primitivequiltsandprojects.com, which is the website for this publication, and buy a copy there. Thank you for watching. Come back for more ideas.